previous video and I needed to correct it. So please ignore the previous video. I'm going to make sure that I've deleted them. But this is 100% accurate. That nothing is changing within Overwatch. It's going to be a standard 9-team bracket here. I used Division 2 here as an example of what this is going to look like. The 8th and ninth seed will need to play either Tuesday or Wednesday to then see who will play, in this case, as current standings are, the number 1 seed, which is Baraboo. These games right here can all be played on Wednesday and Thursday, and whoever wins this round will qualify to go to the state championship. So if you are, any of these schools, you basically said when you registered that you can make the trip. So just note, if you win, you're in. If you are these schools here, the 8th and ninth seed will need to win 2 games in order to punch their ticket to the state championship. Again, the state championship is a physical LAN taking place at Madison College on December 14th. And so I've posted it a few times in Discord. I've posted it a couple of times just on social media itself. But this is why every single map matters when we're talking with Overwatch. If you look at Division 2 standings here, you can see there are a lot of teams kind of jumbled up here in the middle. And so one map makes a huge difference. Now, some of these numbers aren't completely up to date, but I mean, if you look at, there's 1 win difference between the 3rd and 4th seed, and that can make a huge difference within Overwatch and Smash for that matter too, because this is the tiebreaker here. So these are important for seeding. I talked in the previous video about Smash, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about it right now. Again, this is going to be a best of 5 format, so it's going to be 5 1v1s. The question was already brought up, what if our school doesn't have 5 Smash players? You can still participate with 4, because ultimately, in order to get out of group stages, you need to win a majority of your matches, right? So the tiebreaker is going to be by losses. So you could potentially take up to, if you're 3 players technically win every single game and you forfeit the other 2 1v1s, you're sitting at like a 9-6 record, I believe. So a 9-6 record could potentially get you into the knockout stages for Smash, if you make it to the state championship. Smash playoffs is going to have to work a little bit different. The 1 and 2 seeds coming out of each division will automatically qualify for state. So right now, based upon current standings, Bayport and Horlick would advance out of Division 2. Jefferson and Fort Atkinson would advance. I guess it should depend if Fort Atkinson and Merrill have played, so that way we know who has the head-to-head tiebreaker, as they are identical across the board. Division 2, as it currently stands, Edgewood and Random Lake would make it out because of map record. The remaining schools, so the remaining 8 schools that are in each division, would then go into a knockout style bracket like Overwatch here. So you would have 8 seeds here, and so basically you would have to be one of the finalists, so you'd have to play this out. So it's going to be a busy week there on December 2nd through the 6th. So what this would look like is, so if we kind of flip back over here, so if we'll just jump back down here to Division 2. So 1 and 2 would make it out. Merrill would have the 1 seed, Baraboo would have the 2 seed, and then all the way down to the 8 seed here. So what that means then is you have to basically get into the championship for Smash in order to get it. So if you win the knockout, so seeds 3 through 10 within the standings, if you win this, you become the 3rd seed. If you're the runner-up, you're the 4th seed. So even way, if you make it to the finals in the playoff knockouts, you will qualify for state, but then you're going to want to go in and try to still win and go into seeding. And so the way that seeding is going to work, we have some rules here. So I tried to mirror some of this off of what League of Legends does for their World Championship or the World Cup within group stages. So some small rules with this. Division 1, 2, and 3 are all going to be in separate divisions here as far as their first place. And then their second place teams can't be in the same pool as the other ones. So, for example, if we were looking at our Smash Bros. Standing, so we'll say Bayport, Jefferson, and Edgewood have all qualified. So Bayport, Jefferson, and Edgewood. So now if we look at, and I'm just going to use these current standings here. So Fort Atkinson, Random Lake, and Horlick. So Horlick, Fort Atkinson, and Random Lake. 3rd and 4th seed, I'm just going to say that, these next two won. So Racine Park and Menominee Falls. So Park, Falls. And then in Division 2, Merrill and Baraboo. And then we'll say in Division 3, Two Rivers and St. Catharines make it out. So Two Rivers, St. Catharines. Okay. So in order to figure out which one's going, which we automatically, because we're just going to separate it. So Bayport, Jefferson, and Edgewood all have to go into their own groups. Second place can't play in the same division as their first seed. So, and I'll do this all live as far as randomly picking. So if we say random 1 through 3, Horlick is going into the 3rd one. So Horlick, which that means Fort can't play in this one. So Fort would go into this one, and Random Lake would go here. 3rd and 4th seeds, it's all entirely random. So if we just, so I'm just going to drag this down 3 because it'll pick 3 random numbers. So Park, Merrill, Two Rivers in that order. So Park will go into the 3rd, Merrill into the 1st, and then Two Rivers has to go here for those seeds. So we would then do the same thing for the 4th seed, 1 through 3. And so Falls will be the first number, Baraboo 2nd, and St. Catharines the 3rd. So if Falls is going into 1, okay, so perfect. So Falls, Baraboo, St. Catharines. So it'll all be completely random within that point. So again, 3rd and 4th place are the winners of the 8-team playoff bracket. 1st and 2nd seed automatically qualify from the standings. So now we would have knockout stages, group stages, to where you play everyone in your group. So say first match is Bayport against Fort Atkinson, Merrill against the Falls. Next round is Bayport against Merrill, Fort against Falls. And then the last round would be Bayport against the Falls and Fort Atkinson against Merrill. So based upon those in your group, it'll rank you based upon your win-loss. So the loss is going to be really important because then that's how you're going to get seeded for knockout. So in this case here, excuse me, I'm just going to, for simplistic sake, say that these are the way that the standings finished out anyways. So Bayport would go here then for seed 1. Fort Atkinson, being 2A, would go down here. Division 2A is going to go ahead and go here, with then 2B going up here. And then Edgewood being the 3A going here, and then the 3B going here. The last seed 7 and 8 are going to be for the 3rd place teams that have the least amount of losses. So let's say, Park lost 7 games, Two Rivers lost 8, and Merrill lost 9. So Merrill is eliminated because they have the most losses out of their group stages. Park with the least would go down here to seed 7. Two Rivers would come up here to seed 8. And then we would finalize then this playoff bracket. And then we would go through knockouts in order to crown our state champion for Smash. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense as far as how you can get to the 3rd and 4th seed. Again, first 2 seeds in your standings automatically qualify to go to state. Then the remaining schools will be entered into an 8-team bracket. And then that bracket, they will play through 1v1s throughout, just like you would for the state championship. So no 2v2s anymore. It's too much of a network issue. There are schools that have it figured out. There are other schools that, for some reason, the 2 switches is not working. So this still makes it a school against school like we've been doing. It's still kind of a team way of doing it, and it allows you to kind of pick your players in order, because it does matter when you get to this stage here. So if you know, school A is picking this and school B is picking this player, you may want to try to do your best matchups. And again, even if you don't have 5 players, you can still potentially make it to state, and you could still potentially get to knockouts. This way, too, every school gets at least 3 games, so that way every student can still participate. You can rotate players and stuff like that, because all 5 games matter within groups. So just because you get 3 wins doesn't mean that you want to slouch on the last 2 losses, because it has seeding implications. So hopefully this helps make it a little bit more clear as to what's happening. If you have questions, please reach out to me or to Lee Itzen, the Smash coordinator. I can't imagine that there's questions on Overwatch. It's a pretty standard bracket based upon seeding within your standings. So there will be a playoff for all 3 divisions of Overwatch. So we will crown a Division 1, 2, and 3 champion. Depending on how much time, we'll see if we can play champion against champion against champion. So, but there will be trophies for every division winner. There will be state champion medals for all student participants this year as well. So hopefully this helps answer a lot of questions that are coming up. I know we're 3 weeks away now from getting to playoffs, and it's going to be really important to have all of these standings up to date. So when we get to seeding, we know exactly who's in what spot and where they're supposed to be. So again, if you have questions, please reach out to me or Lee Itzen about Smash. Otherwise, I will see you next week or next Saturday for the Extra Life Marathon. Otherwise, you can actually meet me in person when you qualify for state. So have a great weekend, and let me know if you have questions. Bye.